Hey, what's up guys? Young Karth here, and welcome to today's video. I know it's been a little bit since the last upload, but I've been working on coaching, I've been working on grinding up my account, and I think you guys already saw on Twitter and YouTube, but showed up on the screen, Rank 1 Karthus NA has been reclaimed once again. So for anyone always asking in the comments, you've never been Rank 1 Karth, etc, etc. Well, there you go, there's the official screenshot for this particular season. And I want to say thank you guys so much for your continued support on all my previous guides and my videos. A lot of those videos are surpassing 3K, 4K, 5K views, tons of likes, tons of new subs, tons of comments. So thank you guys so much for the support. And one more thing before we get going, make sure you guys follow the socials, the Twitch, Twitter, etc. Make sure you drop a like on this video, and if you're new, make sure you subscribe for the best Karthus content on YouTube. Let's get right into today's video. Okay, so for today's guide, this is mainly going to be focused on snowballing. And for those that don't know, snowballing means taking and accruing a lead and then using that to end the game quickly. And a lead would obviously mean gold, kills, objectives, tempo. All of these things can play into the factor of snowballing. So I've got 4 particular points that I want to make for Karthus ADC snowballing today, and we're going to get right into the first one, which is going to be early game cheesing. Now, this is a strat that's pretty much going to work in every elo up until maybe Master Plus, and even sometimes it works then. Now there's a few different kinds of cheeses that you can do on Karthus to get yourself a lead early. Now this first one that I'm going to show you here works best if you have a poke support. So what you're going to do is, if you're on top side, you're going to want to stand right here on the screen, as you can see. Now that area that I'm standing in right there is outside of vision, so the enemy's not going to be able to see it. You want to place your ward right there in that little tri bush right there, and you're pretty much just going to wait until the enemy is done leashing, and 90% of the time the enemy is going to walk through this bush here, and as long as they haven't placed a ward or suspect you doing this cheese, you're going to be able to get about 2 to 3 free Qs off. And if you have a poke support, they're going to also throw their spell in there. And you can normally start both enemies at half HP, or one of them at about half HP at least. And this normally is transitioning into a level 1 kill or a level 2 kill for sure. The enemy will also normally be kind of angry, and they want to get to the minions quickly here, guys. So they want to miss the XP, and while they scramble to get to the minions and get their first 3, you can normally land a few more Qs or just drop the early exhaust on them and you're able to kill them. Now, the other locations where this cheese is going to work, let's say you're on red side instead of blue side. What you're going to want to do instead is use the little alcove area to your advantage. You can kind of sit and wait in the first or the second bush. The first bush is going to be working better for you if you have a support like a Nautilus or a Leona or something that you want to be closer to them for. And if you're ranged, you can go the second bush, or you can walk up to the little top side bush on the lane as well, and you can just wait there and try and get some free poke. Normally you don't do an all-in unless your support's dropping their ignite rather quickly, and if that does end up happening, then that's all good. Trading kills is always worth for Karthus early, because you can get your Dark Seal back quickly, you and work towards your lost chapter quickly, it's just always going to be to your advantage. And any kind of health chunking you can do is just going to set you up for a level 1 or a level 2 fight, trade, or kills, and that's going to begin the snowball at that point. So yeah, those are a few early game cheeses you can look. Do you want to try and do this every game if you can? It's normally working, and it's a great way to get the ball rolling for Karthus ADC. Alright, so point number 2 kind of transitions from the first point. Now this one is tower diving. I would say, as far as ADCs go, now obviously Karthus is an APC, a mage, but as far as bot lane picks go, Karthus is the absolute king of tower dives. And that's in both ways, by the way. So number 1, any kind of trade that you get early, if you have an engaged support, or if your jungler does happen to path bot lane, if you get off that early game cheese, you can put them at half HP, maybe 20% HP. And most people who know how to play ADC role know that you don't want to have to back early while the enemy ADC doesn't, because you're going to miss crucial early levels and experience, and you're pretty much just going to get steamrolled. So if you get the early game cheese off and you have a dive support like a Leona, Nautilus, Rel, etc., you can normally clean up a double kill in the early game with a tower dive with your exhaust. Now, you're probably going to die, but a really good example, once again, you have to think, trading on Karthus, always worth, and if you wait until the wave has shoved, and then you tower dive them and get a double kill, so let's say you're against a Kai'Sa, you kill the enemy support and the Kai'Sa, and you already have the wave under their tower, so you've gotten a double kill. That's probably like a huge back for you, maybe lost chapter, maybe dark seal plus boots and a tome, and they lose the whole wave as well. It's just insanely worth, and if your jungler's there, it's even easier. Now, the same goes for the enemy trying to tower dive Karthus. Now this obviously, big no-no. Karthus has a death passive and makes it extremely hard to tower dive him. Karthus takes exhaust, makes it even harder to tower dive him. And yeah, Karthus just has a lot of damage in general. He has a slow with his W. So normally if the enemy tries tower diving you, you're trading at least 1 kill and possibly more. I've had tons of games where I'm even bot lane. The enemy decides to tower dive me for some reason, like the jungler in mid come. I've killed 2, I've killed 3, I've killed 4. I'm just back in the game immediately, and then I'm able to snowball myself into a quick win in what should have been a lost game. So, tower diving on Karthus, great. Getting towered over on Karthus, great as well. Alright, now point number 3. I know you guys have heard me talk about purchasing this item in the past. This is going to be Dark Seal and Mejai's. So, Dark Seal is an absolutely fantastic item on Karthus. You want to buy it normally on your first back, unless of course you have the fully completed lost chapter on your first back. You definitely want to buy Dark Seal. Now if you don't know what this item does, it gives you plus 15 ability power off the rip and plus 40 health, and it has a pretty unique passive. So you get stacks based on getting kills or assists, and you lose stacks based on death. So each champion kill is going to gain you 2 stacks and assist, and it stacks up to a maximum of 10, and you lose 5 stacks on death. And what it does is for each stack you gain 4 ability power. So at max, this item is giving you 40 ability power. So very cool little item, very snowbally obviously, because the more you stack it, the quicker you stack it, the more stats you're going to have over your opponent. You're going to be stat checking them. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, young Karth, do I and when should I upgrade to Mejai's? Now, this is depending on a few factors. So, if you start to see that a lot of players on the enemy team are getting fed, like assassins, for instance, like Talon, Kiana, Rengar, Kha'Zix, if you know for a fact that you're going to die a lot, just keeping the Dark Seal is normally the best way to go. Now, obviously Karthus does have a death passive, and when you die you lose stacks, but if you're able to get kills while you're dead, you're gaining stacks back, so that's pretty cool. But overall, if you feel like it's going to be a high death game that you need to play kind of suicide-y to make it work, Mejai's is normally not the option. Now, Mejai's is a really great option into mostly ranged character matchups where you can just kind of sit back and play Glass Cannon Karthus and just let your ult rain on them to get those free stacks. That is normally the best time that you want to upgrade. Now, for those that don't know, once again, here's what Mejai's does. It's like an upgrade to Dark Seal. You get plus 20 ability power on purchase and 100 health. And it's the same thing where you can gain stacks, except this time you can stack it up to 25, and you gain 5 ability power for each stack to a maximum of 125. And the really cool part is you get 10% bonus movement speed if you have at least 10 stacks. So you can really go around the map really quickly and chase people down with your W. It's just really free once you get that up to 25 stacks. It's a really crazy item. You just have to know when you can go it. So if you're at low chance of death, or you just want to kind of gamble on it early game, you can go for it. You can end games very quickly with this item. Now, when do I purchase it normally? I like to at least complete 2 core items before I upgrade to Mejai's, even if my Dark Seal's sitting at 10 stacks. Now, there's a reason I do that. So let's say you just purchased your Liandry's and you got a Dark Seal at 10 stacks. And then you buy the Mejai's with no second item at all, and you get an unlucky death. Boom. There goes the gold that you just spent for Mejai's down the toilet. Obviously you can get it back up, but it's definitely be a hit to your ability power. It's going to be a hit to your gold lead, and it's not as snowballing. I like to at least guarantee myself 2 items before I purchase it, so just in case when I purchase it if I get fucked, I'm not as behind on the gold, because at least I have 2 fallback strong items to go in with. But yeah, Dark Seal is a must on Karthus, and Mejai's is a sometimes. Allows you to end the game very quickly. Alright, and the final point of this video is going to be force fights. Now at this point, we're assuming that you've won lane, you have a Dark Seal stacked up, you have Liandry's online, you've taken the enemy tower. Now how do I solidify my lead as Karthus ADC and carry the game? That's correct. So you want to look for skirmishes, you want to look for 5v5s, and you want to do this before objective spawn. Let's say you get an Ocean Drake about to come up, let's say you get a Rift Herald about to come up. You want to look for, firstly, any sort of 2v2 or 3v3 skirmish that you can start, because that's where Karthus thrives, to be honest. Karthus loves any sort of environment where he can play aggressively and force fights, because once you have your first item online, you're really huge. If you have any Dark Seal stacks, you're huge. You want to make sure you can start hitting those isolated Qs, work together with your support. What I like to do as well is, like I said, for the objective spawn, you can clear out any sort of players. You can make a pick on the jungler, you can make a pick on 2 players. So if you trade your life for 2 or 3 kills, normally you're going to trade your life for at least 2 kills. That means it's going to be a 3 versus 4 on the objective. And since you're Karthus, probably after you die you're going to be hitting your ult key, right? So they're going to be all half health or lower. So the objective is pretty much free at that point. Now, personally, I like to go mid after laning phase on Karthus so I can catch really easy waves, and I like to situate myself so that I'm able to, if there's a Rift Herald, I'm mid. I can just walk top. If there's a Drake or a fight breaking out bot lane, I can situate myself mid, I can easily get down to bot lane. So since I'm kind of the one controlling the game, I like to be in a position where that I can help top, I can help bottom side jungle, I can help top side jungle, They can help on invades, etc. Now another really great strat that I like to use on Karthus bot is just splitting with your support or whoever the second most fed player is on the team. So maybe it's your top laner, maybe it's your mid. Normally you want to go with your support though, and this works best if you have a Nautilus, a Rel, a Leona, etc. And you just kind of let them bring themselves into you, right? So any sort of 2v2s, you're going to excel in big time. You can keep your CS per minute very high and side lanes by pushing. Now, obviously don't over push, but the best way to do this is kind of mid game when Baron is starting to spawn or a Drake is starting to spawn, and you're so fed at this point that if you're not really in the team fight, your ult is going to determine whether they win or lose the team fight, and you're able to split, get towers, free CS, take jungle camps top side, take jungle camps bot side, and you're just forcing enemy players to allocate their resources towards you, and you're always living and killing, or you're trading and killing, so your team is always getting something as well. Now the only thing that I will say about Karthus, guys, is it's not a complete 1v9 champion, right? If your team's performing very poorly, it's going to be like any other ADC, right? The game is going to be hard. But if you're fed, there are ways in Karthus ADC that you can use your lead that maybe other ADCs wouldn't be able to do, like the trading, the split pushing, and all that kind of stuff. You have extremely good wave clear. But yeah, guys, that's going to be the video today. Obviously, Karthus ADC is an absolutely fantastic pick, and those are my 4 points on how you can really snowball the game quickly in your favor and end in about 20 minutes. If you like this video and you like these tips, please drop a like on the video. It really helps me out. Follow my socials. In the comment section, guys, I'm going to have an application you can fill out for Young Karth coaching. I'm down for coaching right now. I have really good rates. I've coached over 100 plus students with excellent results. You guys can check out that application and fill it out down below. And if you're new, grab a subscription for the best Karthus content on YouTube. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.